ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की
जय।
इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की
जय।
शांति कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
नामाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरि गोवर्धन ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ धाम की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेटेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन by Gaur Premanand. All वरिष्ठ संबंधी all वरिष्ठ संबंधी all वरिष्ठ श्री भगवान श्री भगवान ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Text 19.
Yes.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text number 19. Prahlad, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Tata enam guru gyatva gyata geya chatushtayam daityendram darshayam asa matri mrishtam alankritam tata enam guru gyatva gyatageya chatushtayam दैत्येन्द्रं दर्शयामास मातृभृष्टम् अलङ्कृतम् तत एनं गुरुं ज्ञात्वा यातगेय चतुष्टयम् दैत्येन्द्रं दर्शयान् आस मातृभृष्टम् अलङ्कृतम् तत एनं गुरुर्ज्ञात्वा यातगेय चतुष्टयम् दैत्येन्द्रं दर्शयाम् आस मातृभृष्टम् अलङ्कृतम्
तत एनं गुरुर्ज्ञात्वा यातगेय चतुष्टयम् दैत्येन्द्रं दर्शयामास मातृभृष्टम् अलङ्कृतम्
तथा एनं गुरुर्ज्ञात्वा ज्ञातगेय चतुष्टयम् दैतेन्द्रियं दर्शयाम आस मातृमृष्टम् अलङ्कृतम्
Mataji's
Tata enam gurur gyatva gyata gyaye chatushtayam Daitrendriyam darshayam asa matram drishtam alankritam.
Thereafter, Enam, him, Prahlad Maharaj, Guru, his teachers, Gyatva, knowing, Gyata, known, Gyeya, which are to be known, Chatushtayam, the four diplomatic principles, Sama, the process of pacifying, Dana, the process of giving money and charity, Bheda, the principle of dividing, and then the principle of punishment, Daitya Indram, unto Hiranyakashipu, the king of the Daityas, Darshayam Asa, presented, Matralishtam, being bathed by his mother, Alankritam, decorated with ornaments. Translation and purport by Divine Grace to the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. After some time, the teachers Shanda and Amarta thought that Prahlad Maharaj was sufficiently educated in the diplomatic affairs of pacifying public leaders, appeasing them by giving them lucrative posts, dividing and ruling over them, and punishing them in case of disobedience. Then one day, after Prahlad's mother had personally washed the boy and dressed him nicely with sufficient ornaments, they presented him before his father. Purport. It is essential for a student who is going to be a ruler or king to learn the four diplomatic principles. There is always rivalry between a king and his citizens. Therefore, when a citizen agitates the public against the king, the duty of the king is to call him and try to pacify him with sweet words, saying, "You are very important to the state. Why should you disturb the public with some new cause for agitation?" If the citizen is not pacified, the king should then offer him some lucrative post as a governor or minister, any post that draws a high salary, so that he may be agreeable. If the enemy still goes on agitating the public, the king should try to create dissension in the enemy's camp. But if he still continues, the king should employ argumentum ad baculum, severe punishment, by putting him in jail or placing him before the firing squad. The teachers appointed by Hiranyakashipu taught Prahlad Maharaj how to be a diplomat so that he could rule over the citizens very nicely. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, the seventh canto, Prahlad Maharaj's characteristics are described. How he got divine disposition because of the mercy and the grace of Srila Narad Muni. And so, as opposed to Hiranyakashipu, who is completely obsessed with his false ego, Yastvaya Mandabhagyokto Madanyo Jagadishwaratvasa Yadisa Sarvatra Kasmata Svambesa Drishyate. How can someone be more powerful than me? That is his biggest problem. And when he had performed all his austerities, Nantar Bahir Diva Naktam Anyasmada Vichayudhi Na bhumau nambari mrityu na nare nambari vedapi. May death not come to me by any of these means. So Hiranyakashipu is covering all the bases. And then with his senses he is trying to satisfied to the fullest extent. But the senses can never be satisfied. So all of this is the result of being cursed by Jay and Vijay. By 4 Kumaras to Jay and Vijay. When the 4 Kumaras committed the offense, then they were cursed by, when the 4 Kumaras, they came to the gate of Vaikuntha, the Jay and Vijay committed that offense at the lotus feet of the 4 Kumaras. So the Kumaras cursed them. So that curse of the Kumaras resulted in obsessive desires for sense gratification and control within the heart of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this principle is described that everything comes by the association of devotees. Amanistarite tomar iha agaman parama dayalu tumi padita pavan. Ramanandra tells Lord Chaitanya, you have come here to deliver me. And therefore you are padita pavan, deliverer of the fallen. And he says, who is fallen? Vedanishtha madhye ardheta veda mukhe mani Vedanishita papa kore dharma nahi bhai. Fallen is someone who knows what is to be done and what is not to be done as per the scriptural injunction. But still they are unable to control themselves and succumb. And that is known as patita or fallen. Veda nishidha papa kare. And they perform sinful activities opposed to the Vedas. Dharma nahi bane. And do not act and make choices as per dharma. And therefore, the only purpose of sadhu sangha, those personalities who travel across the whole universe, sharing the message of Krishna in the scripture, they have only one main task. Just like a doctor has the task of purifying your body of disease, identify the disease and extract that disease out through various means, whatever means they may want to follow. But you go to a doctor, the doctor scans you. You go to allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy. All of these are different pathis. Nothing works, you go to Tirupati. Ultimately, only he can take care. But why all of these different medical lines you are going? Because the doctor is trained and empowered to identify what is the impurity which has entered your body. Whether you call it virus, you call it bacteria, you call it tumor, you call it whatever name you give. Ultimately, the doctor is battling against some impurity which has entered into your physical body from the head to toe somewhere, sometime, and creating pain. And therefore, to alleviate yourself of that pain, you go to the doctor. So that's the doctor's mandate. To purify you of the bodily impurity. Purify you of the impurity within your body. And therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified as Chaitanya Vaidya, doctor. Lord Chaitanya is also glorified as a doctor. Vaigunya Kita Kalitam, Paishunya Vrinapiritam, Dainyarnave Nimagnoham, Chaitanya Vaidyamashraya. I offer my respects to the Chaitanya Vaidya, who is doing what? Who is removing the parasites and the bacteria of various tendencies for enjoying this material world. And then he is removing the virus and the bacteria of your fault-finding tendencies. Paishunya, Vrina, Piritam. The impurities which are running within your bloodstream, he is removing, just like a doctor purifies the bloodstream. Dainyarnave, falling into the ocean of humility. Nimagnoham. I am drowning in that ocean of humility because I am helpless to purify myself. Of what? Of my intentions. Chaitanya Vaidyam Ashray. So therefore, the doctors purify your body and the sadhu purifies your intention. So the biggest challenge for the world today is to realize that impure intention is the beginning of all problems in this creation. And the intention out of fear, influenced by mode of ignorance, out of desire, influenced by mode of passion, should at least come to the mode of goodness, of duty, and then love. And therefore, we are looking at how to purify that intention. Yamadharma kamam artha vimukta kamam bhajanti ishtam gatimapnuvanti kimcha shishurati api dehamadhram karotu metabhya dayo vinokshanam. Gajendra is praying that the Lord is so powerful purifier. Dharma, Kama, Artha, Vimukta Kama. Anybody comes in contact with Krishna, their intentions start getting purified. Just like when fire is in touch with wet grass, it becomes damp grass. When fire is in touch with damp grass, it becomes dry grass. When fire is in touch with dry grass, it ignites. But any contact with fire has an impact. Similarly, any contact with Krishna has the impact to burn your impurities of your intention. And therefore, Kim chashishorati api deham adhruvam karotu me adabhradayo vimokshanam. People like Dhruva Maharaj approached the Lord with impure intentions. Narada Muni is telling Dhruva, Kuladikam mudam lipse dhanukrosham kuladavat maitrim samanat anvichin na tapairabu bhuyate. My dear Dhruva, the gentlemanly way of life is when you see someone superior to you, you should become happy. When you see someone equal to you, you should make friends. When you see someone inferior to you, you give them mercy. This way, what will be the effect? Na tapair abhibhuyate. You will not experience the heat of this material existence. The burning sensation of your heart will be eradicated. Dhruva looks at Narad Muni and says, excellent advice for a Brahman, not for me. My heart is burning with desire for revenge. And therefore, Padam Tribhuvanot Krishtam Jikesho Sadhuvatmane. I want to attain a position greater than that of my great-grandfather Brahmaji. I am a highly ambitious person. And I have come to you, my dear Lord. Muni to help me fulfill that ambition. So when Narad Muni hears this, he realizes that he is dealing with a special case. But the word he uses is Jigisho Sadhu Vartmani. I'm ambitious and full of desires. My desires may be impure, fine. But I want a bona fide path. I'm willing to follow all the rules and regulations of that path by which I can fulfill my desires. So therefore, Krishna has a very unique feature where he can fulfill the desire and then make you desireless also. So that is what Narad Muni tells to our Dhruv Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the mantra you chant. Mantredanena devasya kuryat dravyamayim buddham saparyam vividai dravyer desha kala vibhagavit. And when you chant this mantra, it is empowered with the ability to fulfill your desires as per time, place and circumstance. And so Dhruv Maharaj performs that austerity, completely focused on the Lord. And within 6 months, he attains the darshan of Prishnigarva. Prabhupada writes in the purport that in the first month he didn't eat, he ate once in so many days, then he started drinking water once in so many days, then he started breathing, and then he also felt that even breathing is exhilarating. So Prabhupada writes a long purport that don't imitate this, what Dhruv Maharaj does. Right? We are Kali Yuga Jivas. Nirjala means everything except Jala. So we are not empowered to do such long fast and keep thinking about food all the time. So the upavas means you think about the Lord. So whatever comes naturally. So Dhruv Maharaj, he attains the darshan, and as soon as the Lord places the shank upon his head, Dhruv Maharaj is totally enlivened, right? And immediately Dhruv Maharaj becomes transformed. Dhruv Maharaj then he says, Bhaktim muhu prabhatam tvaime prasango bhudat anantamahatam amalashayamam. I attained you, my dear Lord, but what I want is association of devotees. The sadhu sangha is what I want. Yenon jasolpanamaru bhagavat bhavodhyam nishe bhavat gunakathamratapanamata, where the Harikatha is constantly going. So therefore, again, Dhruv Maharaj is changing his aspiration. He began with aspiration to be the king of the universe. But now he is aspiring satsanga, where I will just hear and chant the glories of the Lord. So that transformation has happened because of the intervention of Narad Muni. So that is what is the example of transformation of the intention. One couple got married. They came to Srila Prabhupada for blessings. The lady was very young, 18, 19 years old. Prabhupada asked her, so whom do you love more, Krishna or your husband? The lady started crying. So Prabhupada got bewildered. Did I ask something wrong? Why is she crying? So Prabhupada looked at the lady and said, I asked a simple question. Whom do you love more, Krishna or your husband? Why you are crying? And she said, neither. Neither Krishna nor husband, because I am newly married, getting to know my husband just now, and Krishna consciousness also I am new. So the whole idea of association is cultivation. Cultivation of new desires, new intentions. And that is what Sadhu Sangha is all about. Transformation of new desires in the service of the Lord. And so Srila Prabhupada encouraged his devotees to come and spread Krishna consciousness in India. So young American, European devotees, they had no previous experience of being in India. But Srila Prabhupada saw they had the right intention. And so Prabhupada empowered them to spread Krishna consciousness in India. Many times people think spirituality means you must be able to memorize the verses, chant the Sanskrit, do the yajna, all the external rituals of spirituality must be proper. But that's not what spirituality is all about. It's about serving with the purified intention. So Prabhupada was in Chennai, and one scholar started arguing with Srila Prabhupada, and he said, your American boys, their chanting of Sanskrit is not appropriate. They are not chanting with the right meter, right pronunciation. Technically not correct. Prabhupada said, rather than criticizing, if you are the expert, why don't you come and stay with us in the temple? You train us, train them in how to chant the Sanskrit. Come, stay with us. And train them how to chant the Sanskrit with the proper meter, the proper pronunciation. And then Prabhupada said, when you stay with us, you can't drink coffee. The scholar looked at Prabhupada and said, their pronunciation is not bad. So when Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement, there was tremendous temptation for compromise. Why raise the bar so much? People will not come. Keep the bar here. Masses will get attracted. But the process is for purifying the intentions. And therefore, Narmuni chastises Vyasdev Jigupsitam Dharma Paderu Shasata Svabharaktasya Mahandarikrama. Somebody is already having fever, you are supposed to decrease the fever, not give things to enhance that fever. So there is no way this actually can be accepted. So Srila Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement by setting the bar high. These are the rules, these are the regulations, these are the principles. You follow this. And therefore, Sadhu Sangha is the only way for Sansara Mukti. Kshanamapi Sajjana Sangatireka Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka. Shankaracharya, who established the monistic philosophy, even he recommends this. What? Kshanamapi Sajjana Sangatir Eka. Kshanamapi, even for a moment, Sajjana Sangati, to come in association and contact with a devotee. Eka is the only way by which Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka, it is the boat by which you cross the ocean of material existence. That's the only way. And so, the sign of misfortune is we are neither attracted to nor feel the necessity nor have the internal desire for sadhusanga. So that is the biggest misfortune. What is the biggest misfortune? When we are neither attracted to sadhu sangha, nor aspire for sadhu sangha, nor feel that there is a necessity for sadhu sangha. So when Gargacharya is sent by Vasudeva, Vasudeva Krishna is born, and Ta Krishna Mahya Vasudeva Agade Swayam Devartante Yatha Tamorave. Vasudeva picks up Krishna and the Yamuna parts, and he goes across the Yamuna and leaves Krishna in Gokul. Tatascha Shauri Bhagavad Prachodaya Sugam Samadaya Sutika Grihat. He is the Shauri. Vasudeva is the Shauri, the brave one who has fought against all odds and continued with enthusiasm even though 6 sons are born. Real bravery is not conquering a foe. Real bravery is not to allow circumstances to conquer your desire and enthusiasm. That is the Srimad Bhagavatam purview of being brave. So Vasudeva is brought Krishna and kept. And Vasudeva is now counting the days. For a Kshatriya, the name giving ceremony must happen within first 100 days. So Vasudeva is keeping track. So he approaches Gargacharya and says, you go to Gokul and you give Namakaran ceremony to these 2 boys. My boys were there. So Gargacharya, he goes. When he goes and he meets Nanda Maharaj, Garga Purohito Rajan Yadunam Mahantapa Prajam Jagamanandasya. So he says that Garga Purohito Rajan, Garga is the Purohit who goes. Vasudeva Prachodita, on the instruction of Vasudeva. Prajam Jagamanandasya, and is going to Braj to give the Namakaran ceremony to Krishna and Balram. Now the name is not yet there. So when Nanda Maharaj meets him, so the first thing which Gargacharya says is, I have to warn you of the consequences of me giving the name. Why? Yaduna Mahamacharyam Khyatascha Bhuvi Sammada. I am famous as Yadava's Acharya. Sutam Maya Samskritam Te Tam Manye Devaki Sutam. If I come in the middle of, a small village Gokul and give name to these 2 boys, Kamsa may think these are Devaki's children. Why has the royal priest gone to a village? So a devotee should never be obsessed that he should be chosen for a particular seva. The devotee should be concerned that Krishna's interests should be protected. If Krishna's interest is the priority and my presence in that seva is a liability, I have to declare the conflict of interest. So that's what Gargacharya is doing very honestly, transparently. That yes, it will be my honor to do it, but if I do it, there is a risk for the body. Now you consider. If this is the consciousness, 90% of conflicts will not happen. 90% of the conflicts happen because people think, I should be doing this. Why should someone else be doing this? Right? Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture on the 12 Mahajans. He says, Swayam Gunada Shamba Kumara Kapilokmanu Pralado Janako Bhishma Bali Vayasakivam. These are 12 Mahajans. One devotee looked at Prabhupada and said, you are the 13th. Prabhupada said, you are the 14th. And he said, you follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans and learn from their character. So this is what Gargacharya's character is. Same. Sutam maya sanskritam te tam manye devaki sutta. There's a big risk for the boy. But Nanda Maharaj says no. For my boy, the greatest blessings will be the sadhu sangha. Alakshitosmin rahasi mamagai api govale kurut vijadi samskaran swasti vachana purvakam. We will organize the name giving ceremony in a secluded place. Alakshitosmin, without anybody seeing. Rahasi, secluded. Where? Go Vraje. All the cows have gone for grazing. The cow barn is empty. The Goshala is empty. In that Goshala, O Gargacharya, only you will be there, I will be there. Nanda Maharaj says, only two of us will know what's going on. And these two ignorant boys, they will not know anything. They're looking at Krishna and Balaram. What they will know. And we will not call any of the ladies also. We will just do this secluded. So, when this is spoken by Nanda Maharaj, so Gargacharya considers evam samprarthito vipra swa chikirshita evaya. Chakara namakaranam gurho rahasi balayoho. Evam samprarthito. Again and again when he is requested, prayed for, hey, do the name giving, do the name giving. Swa chikirshita evata. So he also had desire. So it is not that we are desireless. Some sevas we like to do. And we have the desire. Like when I joined the Chowpatty temple, I was put in the kitchen. I didn't like it. But I was doing it. But I liked preaching in the evenings. So I was contemplating in a manner that how can I escape the kitchen? So I thought, let me increase my preaching programs. So from once a week, I made it twice a week, thrice a week, 4 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. And coming back at late night, 11 o'clock is that. So then my in-charge told me, you are doing too much of preaching. Too much. Looks like you need to be relieved from kitchen. That was nectar to my ears. That was what was planned. I said, whatever you feel. I have come here to serve. To ichha tomar. Says, no. You have too much exertion. So I was like internally very joyful. So when you try to cheat Krishna, Krishna comes back with more force. So again, 2006 onwards, suddenly Maharaj started, proposing we should improve the kitchen, we should improve the kitchen. I said, why are you telling me? No, I'm just telling somebody should improve the kitchen. So that trauma of the initial couple of years, 3 years was so strong. I was resisting, but when Krishna wants to pull you and he feels your time is not yet up, you can't escape. Till now going on. I escaped in my 20s. I got trapped in my 40s. So whenever Krishna has a due to extract from you, so you don't have to be in anxiety. So one should never think, I will remove from my seva. What is it? He knows exactly when to use you, for how long and how. You just tighten the seat belt, relax. Enjoy the flight. So therefore, Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Pariyayate Satsanga Praptate Pumbhir Sukrita Purva Sanchita. Bhaktistu. How do you get bhakti? Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena. Only through Bhagavad Bhakti Sangha you get bhakti. Satsanga Praptate Pumbhir. How do you get Satsanga? Sukrita Purva Sanchitaihi. Because of last lives. Purva Sanchite Sukriti. By Sukriti one attains actually sadhu sangha. So that is important. And then there's a famous verse from Muchukunda prayers. Bhavapavargo brahmato yada bhavet janasya tar achyuta satsamagam satsangamo yarhita daiva satgatu paravaresho tvai mati. Very famous verse, which says very graphically, when you are liberated, bhavapavargo, when you get mukti, when you get, samsara nasha, samsara shaman, then you get satsanga. Then when you get satsanga, then you get smaran of Krishna. Janasya karhi achyuta satsamagama. When you are liberated, the symptom of liberation is you are brought in satsanga. And then when you are brought in satsanga, your ability to contemplate and think of Krishna begins. So that's what the intention changes, purified. Rather than looking at the universe on how every object can serve my pleasure, the intention becomes how can I use everything for Krishna's pleasure. So that's the idea. Therefore, Satam Pasangam Manaviri Samvida. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoye Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janmete Ho Puna Mukhya Anga. So one may think, should I have satsanga only till I become liberated and perfect? Then Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoye Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha is the root for Krishna Bhakti. But Krishna Prema Janme, after even Krishna Prema arises, Teho Puna Mukhya Anga. That continues. So therefore, Mahat Kripa Pavan Karme Bhakti Noy Krishna Bhakti Dure Rahu Samsar Nahi Kshay. Without Mahat Kripa, Bhakti not possible. And what to speak of Krishna Bhakti, you won't even have liberation without that satsanga. So tomorrow we will discuss on the obstacles to the path of this sadhu sangha, and who is exactly the sadhu and what are the obstacles in the journey of this sadhu sangha. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki.
His Grace Gauranga Prabhu ki.
Jai. If anybody has question, can ask till altar opens.
Till our Shankar blows.
This question I've been having from, thank you for giving this series of lectures. So you were mentioning about service, and supposedly there is we hear from Nectar of Devotion that laulyam is vivekamulyam, that is needed. So greed is needed. How to have greed and gratitude together? It's apparently, if there is greed in materialistic way, greed, there is no gratitude. So in spiritual life, how is laulyam and gratitude together?
Aspirations are created by association. You may be peaceful in your job, then suddenly you see somebody of your age, your type, who is doing a startup and is talking about billion, unicorn, this, that. Suddenly you start thinking, should I go beyond just a job? So aspiration is created by association. So like that, when somebody you see who is greedy for Krishna consciousness, only in that association you will develop that. Gradually that aspiration will change. So that is why satsang is important. So that greed, gratitude, everything will develop by that sangha. That's what I said, intention and aspiration. It's anyabhilashita shunya. That's what satsanga does. Doctor purifies the body and the sadhu purifies your intentions and aspirations. That's what Shuddha Bhakti is all about. Ananya Bhakti. Right? It has gone beyond 745. Yes, yes, Prabhu.
You were talking about, like, say, doctors and science and the purification of intentions. So, would it not be possible to elevate science past its current point? Like, they only skim the surface of everything. If they look just a little bit deeper, they could go so much further. Like, there's been numerous research that proves the existence of the soul, but they deny it in order to save face or whatever the case may be. So wouldn't it be possible to use those intentions to make science actually better and more practical?
Srila Prabhupada recognized this. Therefore, he established BI. You know BI? Bhakti Vedanta Institute. Have you heard? Bhakti Vedanta Institute.
Yeah.
That's meant specifically for this, what you just mentioned.
Okay.
Create interface, dialogue between science and spirituality.
It's now in Florida.
Kriya Vedivanti Pasya